Yeah, cool. It's a great industry, mate. I've been doing this, hospitality, since I was 15 years old. So I started off as a kitchen hand, worked my way up through working out the front in the restaurant, then carried on, and as I got older I thought I'd probably need to go and do something else, so I got into hotels because I didn't want to work in restaurants my whole life. Then I started running hotels, and that was fantastic, except they start moving you around. So I was at North Sydney and they asked me to go to Queenstown in New Zealand, so I went to Queenstown first, then I went to Auckland. I was in Auckland for 4 years, and then I moved to Hobart, and then went to Adelaide, and then we came back and we thought, you know what, it's enough. We're sort of getting at that age where we don't want to keep moving around, so what do? Hence Whisk & Co. You know?
I love the idea that you switched back to restaurants because you didn't want to be moving around so much.
Well, exactly right. You know, I've done it for so many years now. Yeah, it was time to sort of settle down. Being a Sydney boy originally and now in Hobart, I love Hobart. Absolutely love it. And I think I'm one of those people, if I had to, I could live anywhere, but I don't know that I would choose to live anywhere else. Absolutely love it here. About Hobart, I think it's that community feel, and in particular Lenna Valley. It's got a fantastic community feel, and if the community likes you, they really back you. They get in behind you. Just before the street upgrade here, council approached us to do a street party, and we had to do it. So did some of the other suburbs, and whoever did the best street party, so to speak, got to do the upgrade first. So we won, and it was a horrible day when we did it. It was raining pretty much like today. And there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people and families, and they came in to support us because they wanted us to get the street upgrade first. So it's just that community feel, and of course there's not too much traffic, not like the big cities. Well, I think, you know, we're in Tassie. It's really important that we do use local product. You know, our coffee supplier Zimmer is from a local supplier. We get our eggs locally as well. Even down to the sparkling mineral water, we use a Latitude 40, which is a Tasmanian. You know, we live here. These are the people who support us. I feel it's important that we support back, pretty much.
What excites you about this? It's been a little spark.
What excites me? You know what? I feel I'm so lucky because I'm actually one of those people who I don't go to work every day. You know, they talk about find what you love doing and you'll never work another day in your life. That's me. I absolutely love it. I walk in the door and we set up in the morning and then we go, and sometimes there's people waiting for us even before we open to come in, and I just get to talk to people all day long. We work, you know, there's no doubt. We work and we work hard. But I love it, and I'm surrounded by very, very talented people. Yeah, it's just fantastic. It really is. Yeah, sure. So our daughters bought a house just around the corner, and my wife and I went to visit and they weren't home yet. So we thought, oh, well, we'll go around to the old cafe that was here and have a cup of coffee. And we sat and we looked around and thought, you know, it's got a really good feel about it. Needed some love, didn't quite look the way it looks now, but it had a really good feel about it. So the short version is I went up to the owner and I said, would you be interested in selling? And he said to me, oh, maybe in about 6 months' time. And I went, okay, gave him my card and I said, when you're ready, give me a call. That was a Friday afternoon. He called me on the Monday and said, maybe we can talk. So we talked, and March this year was 3 years that we've been open. So we're almost at 3.5 years that we've been doing it. So it just happened just because we decided to have a coffee in Lenna Valley.
What I want you to do is, I want you to take me through kind of...
I think that the whole process of making Whisk what it is today, I'm very fortunate where the chef that we have is a chef that I employed recently when I was the GM of Ridges Hotel. He was my executive chef. I went and did other things, he went out, but we always kept in contact. And I said to him, I said, why don't we do this? And he said to me, he said, look, I won't do it with you. He said, but I'll work for you forever, which is fantastic, you know. So we came in and we talked a lot about what sort of food we would do and how we would do the food and what the design would be like. And fortunately, my wife has a very good eye for detail. I'd like to say that this place looks like this because of me, but that would probably be a lie. She probably designed most of it, the colours, the pictures, the floors, the tables and chairs. And that, I guess that's where it came from, you know, and we talked lots about menus and how we were going to do it and how it involved. And then we decided we were going to do 7 days breakfast, lunch, and then dinners 3 nights a week as well, every Thursday, Friday, Saturday with live music. It was going really well, but it was killing us. We were just working non-stop all the time. By Monday morning, we were just zombies. So we decided to go in a different direction, hence the Whisk Burger Bar now. So now we have other chefs in here who do the burger bar. I've got some of my other team who come and work the burger bar, and we step back a little bit.
What sort of process do you go through when you're putting together
I think a lot of the food that you see on the menu is food that I like to eat. There's one in particular, the 3 little pots, which I know drives chef crazy because it's 3 times the work. But I often will go to a restaurant, I see things on a menu, I go, I really like that, and I like that, and I like that, but you can't have all 3. Well, here you can. You know, you've got the 3 little pots, which gives you 3 different things, and it changes all the time as well. So I guess it's just stuff that I like to eat as well. You know, and then you've got the Benedict bar. I'm a huge fan of eggs Benny, especially when they're done well. And we have 5 different types of eggs Benny. One with a pulled pork. We've got the Atlantic. You've got a Florentine, a vegetarian one. And then, of course, we have our specials menu, where sometimes the chef will put a different type of Benedict. You know, there's a satay Benny and there's a satay Benny with chicken, which is amazing. One of the biggest challenges for me here is payroll. You know, my payroll's massive, you know, and we look all the time as where we can cut and where we can cut. There's just nowhere, you know, and then you've got all of these wages, you have to pay more wages, and then you've got Saturday wage and Sunday. It's an ongoing issue, isn't it? We've been talking about this for a long, long time. Probably payroll and keeping it interesting for people. You know, in a place like Lenna Valley, which is such a community-based area, if you don't keep it interesting for people, I think people are very easy to try other places and keep going. And let's face it, Hobart's got some fantastic cafes, and there's more and more opening up all the time. So yeah, I think it's really important that you just keep it interesting for people.
What's it like as a young local starting off?
I started off as a 15-year-old doing 2 weeks work experience in a restaurant in Sydney, and I had an absolute blast. The guy who owned it, fortunately for me, apparently was one of the best in the industry. So when I learnt from him, I got taught, and it's the attention to detail, where the spoon sits behind the cup and how you put that cup down on the table. He was a hard case, so I definitely learnt the hard way. And then after my 2 weeks, I went in and worked Sunday nights as a kitchen hand. And then during school holidays, I worked in the restaurant during the week, and I learnt a lot from him, and I loved it. You know, I found this absolute passion where I almost didn't want to go to school. I just wanted to work in the restaurants. And yeah, that's where I got it from there, and I just kept going. You know, I think at one point in my life, I decided I needed to get out, and I went and did sales, but I was selling hotel motor and catering equipment, right? Well, it's what you know, so you do what you know. But I did that for about 2 years, missed the hospitality, I missed the people, I missed everything, so I decided to come back.
Is the things that you love about hospitality today, do you think that...
I love the people, I love talking to the people, having a laugh, joking around with the people. You know, I keep saying, I have the best job in the world. I stand there and I talk to people all day long. I work and I help and I make coffees and I run, but I get to talk to people all day long.
I want to talk about the specifics of the flip side of that, which is...
Look, we're so fortunate here that the majority, I would say 99.9% of the time, I'll ask everybody, did you enjoy it? And they say, we love it, and we love it, and we always love it. So it's on the rarest of occasions that people say, you know what, it was okay. So we fix the problem, we make the problem go away, whatever we need to do, really. But it's not really that much of an issue here. I think one of probably the worst thing about this industry is when if somebody calls in sick and trying to get somebody else to replace at short notice, that's the hardest part, and that's where oh my God, this is tough. You know, fortunately it doesn't happen, and fortunately I've got such a strong, tight-knit team that they all will jump in and help and work together. And if a lot of the time, if one of them's sick, they'll actually call one of the other guys before they call me to say, hey, I'm not well, can you go in for me? So they'll all, but that's probably the hardest part, when people, last minute say, I really couldn't find anybody, I'm sorry, I can't come in, I'm sick. And you know it's a Saturday and you're gonna get smashed.
What's it like? What is that Saturday like?
On a normal basis, or if somebody, on that particular day?
Saturday,
Look, you just wait for 3 o'clock and you say, I don't know how we did it, but we did it, we got through. And you just do it, and most people are understanding. Most people can see that we're busy and we're running and we're doing our absolute best. And it's fine, Danny, it's okay. We'll be all right. We're happy to sit for a few minutes.
Mentally, how do you stay yourself through that?
Look, again, you know what? There's no point panicking. As I get older, I guess I have this absolute belief in, if there's nothing I can do about it, don't worry about it. If I can't, what can I do? So we do our absolute best, knuckle down, come on guys, we'll get through it. We work together as a team, all of us, and we just get through. But if there's stuff that I can't do anything about and I have no control over, don't worry about it. Coming from restaurants into hotels is very, very different, and it's quite tough when you're first starting out, because it's a political game that you're playing, where in cafes and restaurants it's not so much. And all of a sudden you're going into meetings all the time, you're having meetings with GMs and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, look, it was very different, and it took me a little while to get my head around it. I started at Ridges at North Sydney as the food and beverage manager. So yeah, it was different. It was my first. I think I worked in hotels when I was young, but as a waiter at the Airport Hilton in Sydney. Yeah, it's different. But after I think 2 years at North Sydney, they asked me to go to Queenstown in New Zealand, and I was the number 2 in the hotel, which is great, beautiful place to be. 255 room hotel with huge conferencing and restaurants. Yeah, it's different. It's a different game.
What's sort of challenging from there? And I come at this from
working in a place like Queenstown, where when it's on, it's on. So it's definitely got that high season, low season, and when it's high season, it's all hands on deck. We had one week a year over Christmas where we did this massive American computer company that used to come in and book out the entire hotel, and it'd be worth about $1.5 million for that week worth of revenue for us. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, and if you weren't cleaning rooms, you were working in a restaurant, and when you finish restaurant, you set up and you need to go and help the other guys set up for functions and do the function, then do their breakouts. They did things, this particular company, they did things out at a place called Paradise, where they did a big run. We had to feed them during the day, and then they had a big sit-down dinner for 300 people. There's no kitchens there, there's nothing, so we actually had to take a truck out and prepare all their meals out at Paradise, do a dinner for 300, and then pack it down, and it's full on. But again, I think we brought some GMs in from other hotels to give us a hand, some staff in from, would fly in from Christchurch or from Auckland even, give us a hand. It was massive, just massive, And again, you work as a team, you work together, and it happens.
Was it mostly F&B side of things when you worked in hotels,
Yeah.
or did you do guest services?
When I was starting out as a food and beverage manager, it was food and beverage. But I put myself through front office on my days off. I used to go and work in front office just to get my head around it. Fortunately, where my office was, I was right next to the financial controller, so I managed to spend some time with the financial controller and go, right, well, why are you looking at this? Why are you looking at food costs? You know, and then going through and working through the ranks or working up the ranks. You've got to work with the whole team. You know, your revenue-based team, your sales team. You know, it's not just there's your rate in hotels and that's it all year long. They fluctuate, as you know, like airlines. They fluctuate all the time. So you learn, and I think if you're passionate, and I'm passionate about this, and I love what I do, you do it. You know, you both feet, both hands, you just jump in and you do it, and you learn.
Do you reckon your time in hotels has changed the way that you stay?
I think, do you know what? I think I'm a lot more understanding now. I think I find when I go out into restaurants now, I'm a lot more understanding. So if I see them, they're really busy and they're getting slammed with. Before, I don't know, maybe I thought I was special and I thought, come on, you know, why we're not being looked after? Now I'm a lot more understanding. And I guess the same in hotels, you know, if you see something in a room, you know, okay. And I guess I would then give the feedback, send feedback to the GM, particularly in a hotel where I know the GM. I just let them know, and it's just to let them know. It's not complaining, and it's not because I want anything, it's just to let them know so they can fix it so it doesn't happen to anybody else.
Is that how you feel about feedback in general?
Absolutely.
So that's the way that
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. You know, feedback is always a good thing. You know, that way if there's a problem, we can fix it. If you don't know, you can't fix it. So yeah, absolutely, always. I think the proudest moment for me is when my customers come in here on a daily basis and they tell me that they love coming here because the food, the coffee, the service, the team, everything is fantastic, and it's fantastic every time they come. It doesn't vary. You know, they don't come and have a really good meal one time and the next time they came in, it was pretty ordinary. It's consistently good, and it's the food, the service, everything, and the coffee. You know, we do 10 to 12,000 coffees a month. You know, that's a lot of coffee. That's a lot of coffee, and it's consistently good coffee. So my proudest moment is the team. You know, I've got an awesome team behind me. I'm so lucky on so many levels. You know, and we also, I'm really proud that we can do other things. We do a lot of stuff for charity. Last month we raised nearly $1,800, and I went out and bought 20 sleeping bags, gave them to the Salvation Army to give to people that are homeless. You know, we've done lots of money. We've raised money by donating 10 cents from every coffee that we sell, and we raise money, and we've given money to the Cancer Council, all different sorts of charities. You know, I feel personally I'm so lucky on so many levels. I think it's really important that we give back, so we do. We don't do it every month, but probably, you know, 3 or 4 times a year we'll do it. We'll raise money for charity and we'll give back. You know, the staff here have even thrown their tips in when they get tips. You know, they'll throw their tips in there. I've got customers who come in and they put money in the jar for it. There's one lady who's actually a blind lady, and she'll come in when I tell her that we're doing something. She said, okay, I'll keep that in mind, and at the end of the month she always comes in with a bag of coins. Right? Last one she threw was $320 odd worth of $2 coins. That's towards the charity. People are amazing, you know, and I said, why do you do this? She asked me how many staff we have here, and I said, oh, I've got 21 staff. She turned up at Christmas time with 21 envelopes, with $10 in each envelope, and she hand wrote, be mindful that she's blind, she hand wrote on all of the envelopes to say, thank you so much for always looking after me and always making me feel welcome. The guy stopped, you know, she walks in the door, we stop, doesn't matter how busy it is, we stop what we're doing and we make sure that she's okay, you know. How can you not be proud of the team? They're fantastic, they're awesome, they really are. I love it, every day I love it. You know, when I used to run hotels, I spent a lot more time with my wife, and that's her biggest complaint. We used to spend a lot more time together, and now I'm here almost 7 days a week. You know, most of the time I try to do 6, but a lot of the time I'm doing 7 days a week. I love it. I don't go to work every day. I love it. I absolutely love being here. I really do.
That's me done.